welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron, and this is going to be the game preview for the upcoming Premier League fixture between Everton and Leicester City at the King Power Stadium tomorrow. Marco Silva has had his pre-game press conference today. He didn't say much, to be fair, but he did say a couple of things that I want to touch on in this video. Firstly, he defended his decision to make 7 changes to the squad on Tuesday night against Southampton, basically claiming that it's normal to make changes in that competition and that we still had the players like Cenk Tosun, Morgan Schneiderlin, Tom Davies who played, who were all first teamers. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And he also confirmed that Yerry Mina, Andre Gomez, Seamus Coleman still are not available for this game. However, they have trained all week and he does fully expect the 3 to be available for the Crystal Palace game after the international break. He also mentioned that they are going to, or they are planning to set up a behind closed doors friendly during the international break for them players, for the other injured players as well, Phil Jagielka, and for any other players that haven't been taken away with their country, just to build fitness and fit these new players in, you know, Gomez and Mina into a system and see how they play and which better ways to use them, which to be fair is fair enough, and I'm absolutely, you know, I'm up for that. If Marco Silva wants to do that in the international break, then that's absolutely fine. So without further ado, we will get into my predicted starting 11. I've put it up there. Now before we get into discussing the team, I just wanted to, you know, touch on his comments about the Carabao Cup and the fact that, you know, it's normal to change your goalkeeper and it's normal to change the different players and stuff like that. I'm not going to start rambling about the cup defeat and how, you know, we should have took it seriously, because I've said that before, and this is a preview for a Premier League game, so it's not really anything to do with it, but it does link in for me, and that's why I want to discuss it. For me, I think Marco Silva's just added a lot more pressure to himself, and I don't mean pressure in terms of if he loses this game or the sacking rumours going to start to come in, because I still think they're a little bit premature and a bit ridiculous, but for me, in the eyes of Evertonians now, I think this is a must-win game tomorrow. Marco Silva has set out this stall and he said that, you know, it's normal to make that many changes in a cup competition. He basically inadvertently said we weren't really going for it and we're not really too bothered about getting through or getting anywhere in that competition. And okay, that might be fair enough, but he needs to prove that then with Premier League form, and we need to show that, okay, if we're not focusing on that competition, we're focusing on the Premier League. If we'd have gone out on Tuesday night and battered Southampton and beat Southampton and comfortably got through into the next round of the Cup, and then we go to the King Power Stadium tomorrow and we sort of, you know, we look a little bit tired, we look a little bit fatigued, and we end up only managing a draw, I think fans can turn around and say, well look, we've put a full strength team out on Tuesday, we've got through the cup game, okay, that was bound to affect us in the Premier League, but you know, we're not going to really get anywhere in the Premier League this season because of how we're started. It's going to be difficult for us to get into that top sort of 7 or 6 or 7, so we're going to go for the cup competition, and rightly so. We, as I said before, we're a club that haven't won a cup in 22 years, and we've never won the Carabao Cup or the Carling Cup or whatever it was called back in the day, the League Cup, so we really aren't in a position to just disregard it and to just say whatever, we'll just leave it there, unless our league form clearly shows that we're doing something in the league to show that we can't distract ourselves because we're going to get, you know, into a European place at least, or we're going to challenge. And at the end of the day this year, we're not challenging in the Premier League, and it's going to be really difficult to challenge in the FA Cup. And you know, a good season for us, with obviously with the teams that are in and around the top 6, they're doing very well as well. Arsenal coming back up now, they're starting to find the feet. I know there's issues at United, but it's Man United, and you know, they're a massive football club with quality players. We really need to solidify that 7th place, and I think Marco Silva can do that by getting a victory. And if we go out and we win tomorrow, I think a lot of the fans start to sort of forget, maybe not forget, but the defeat against Southampton becomes a lot less important, because, you know, we've gone out and we've beaten Leicester away from home in the Premier League, and we're starting to build our Premier League form up again, and that's fair enough. But if we don't manage to win tomorrow, I think even if we get a draw tomorrow, there's still going to be fans saying, why didn't you focus on that game? And that's right, let's be honest, Marco Silva should have focused on that game on Tuesday night, and we should have played a full strength team, and we should have gone for it. And at the end of the day, that's what we should do in cup competitions, because we haven't, as I say, we haven't won a trophy in 22 years, and we are not in a position to disregard cup competitions. But anyway, with that out the way, let's go into the starting 11, like I said. So we'll start from the bottom going up to the top. The goalkeeper position, as per usual for Premier League games, Jordan Pickford takes his place in goal again. Martin Stecklenburg got a lot of stick the other night. For me, he probably could have done better. He had one real shot on target against him and it went in. Okay, he had the header, but he was stuck to his line for that anyway. But he got a lot of stick. Again, I think they were all pretty poor. I think it was just a poor selection for me. I don't want to go into, you know, whether he's an awful player or how bad he is, but one thing is for certain, and that is he's light years away from Jordan Pickford. So Jordan Pickford comes in for me. I've gone for a back four that we've seen quite a lot this season, and I think it's probably our strongest back four at the minute, of Lucas Dean at left back, Kurt Zouma centre back, Michael Keane centre back, and then John Joe Kenny at right back. Like I said, Marco Silva confirmed in his press conference that Seamus Coleman is still out injured and will not feature until at least the Crystal Palace game after the international break. So John Joe Kenny keeps his place for now. Again, Keane and Zouma keep their places as well. I don't particularly think Keane had a good game the other day, but he has been good this season, and I think if he can build his confidence back up, you know, he'll crack on. And even when Mina comes in, I think it's going to be difficult to make that decision of who to take out, because even Zouma has been solid this season as well. So I've gone for the two central midfielders. I've gone for Garner Gay and Tom Davies, given the fact that Andre Gomez is still out and we won't see him for a couple of weeks, and the fact that Morgan Schneiderlin, for me, just isn't quick enough on the ball. He just isn't decisive enough to get into that starting 11. That's why I've gone for Davies and Gay. Davies again got a lot of stick the other night. I think Tom Davies is a very good footballer. Okay, he might have had a good game the other night, but for me, when he plays next to Morgan Schneiderlin, it just doesn't work on both parts. They're two very similar players. They're two players that like to have a look around everywhere before passing the ball. And if you play Tom Davies in a central midfield with Adissa Garner Gay, and like I said in the review to the Fulham game, and Garner Gay can sit here and Davies can sit here, you instantly have a better game by Tom Davies, because he's more attacking minded, because he's pushed up the field and he knows that he's got Garner Gay behind him to do the sweeping up work if needed. So I've gone for Bernard on the left hand side, Gylfi Sigurdsson in the middle, and Theo Walcott on the right hand side, with Richarlison playing up front. Now the reason I've chosen these players is because I think Bernard was the outstanding player on Tuesday against Southampton in the Cup. I think he was absolutely fantastic. He was one of the only Everton players that, you know, was looking good, looking positive, looking like a threat to Southampton, especially running down that wing, and even more so when he was played into the central midfield. And towards the end of the game, every time he was picking the ball up, he was looking forward, he was passing the ball to the right positions, and at the end of the day, he was creating chances. He got himself into a couple of situations where if he just had a little bit more power on his shot, he'd have probably seen a goal. And I think it's the time now to bring Bernard in, and I'll go into why I think this game is the game to bring him in. But just in himself, I think he's up there fitness wise now. He's getting used to the league. We can clearly see that he's settling in well. His assist for Gylfi Sigurdsson's second goal against Fulham shows that he's very composed, he's very calm on the ball, he's not worried about big defenders, and I think it's the right time to introduce him, because he definitely offers us something that nobody else offers us, and it's you know, it's not any good if he's just sitting on the bench coming on in the last sort of 10-15 minutes of a game. So I think this is the right time to you know, start him, see how he can do for 90 minutes, and you know, if he's not really performing into the second half, you bring him off, or you swap and change, or maybe put him into the centre of midfield. You maybe take Gylfi Sigurdsson out, and give him a rest, and put Bernard behind the striker. So I've gone for Theo Walcott on the right. Of course, the usual Theo come on and scored a last minute equaliser against Southampton, and then ended up missing a penalty. Again, they say he's a little bit void of confidence at the minute after that. Another poor decision from Marco Silva for me to introduce Theo Walcott in that game, because I just think the reason we played a weakened team was to rest players like Walcott and Richarlison, and if you're going to end up bringing them on anyway to salvage a point, and you're going to risk somebody doing something like they ended up both doing, both missing a penalty, I think their confidence is going to be a little bit shook now. But anyway, it's not in the question. Theo Walcott starts on the right hand side. Gylfi Sigurdsson coming back in through the middle. Obviously he did not feature, wasn't included in the squad on Tuesday, but managed to bag himself 2 goals in the Premier League game against Fulham last week, so it's pretty self-explanatory that Gylfi Sigurdsson comes in and takes his natural position. Now I've put Richarlison up front. It's something that a lot of Everton fans have been asking for quite a while now with Marco Silva. Certainly me, I've wanted to see Richarlison play through the middle for quite a while, and I think this decision doesn't reflect on Cenk Tosun, and I'll go into why I don't think it reflects on Cenk Tosun, because At the end of the day, we are playing a team with 2 centre-backs in Harry Maguire and Wes Morgan, who are 2 big, broad, you know, hard-tackling centre-backs, and the only way you can exploit that is if you get in behind using pace. And I fear that if Cenk Tosun starts in this game, and again, this isn't because I think Cenk Tosun's been poor this season or, you know, hasn't managed to score enough goals. That's by the by, that isn't to do with this situation. I just think the type of player he is and the fact that he isn't naturally skillful and he doesn't have the pace naturally, he isn't going to be able to exploit that defence, and he's just going to be kept at bay sort of all game by them 2 defenders. Where I think if you put Richarlison in, you've got someone that can run beyond them, run through the middle, get past them and exploit them and open them up through balls from Bernard, through balls from Sigurdsson, through balls from Walcott. I think that'll give us a real chance in getting the 3 points on Saturday. And I do think it's important that Marco Silva explains that to Tosun. I think it's important that if that decision is made, he takes Cenk Tosun out and he says, look, this isn't because I think you've been playing bad or because, you know, I don't think you're good enough to start. This is just because the type of game this is, you don't really suit it as a player because of how them defenders play and the fact that, you know, realistically the rest of the season you haven't been able to get in behind defenders. And okay, you haven't got pace, you've got a good shot on you and you can get into positions, but you haven't got the pace to exploit. So we're going to put Richarlison in there who has got the pace to exploit, and then maybe bring Tosun on later on in the game to sort of solidify a victory, hopefully. So yeah, a word on Leicester. Like I said, they have got 2 strong centre halves, a strong defence altogether. They've got Harry Maguire, who we know, you know, teams like Manchester United, Tottenham were linked with throughout the summer. Everton, I also heard, were linked with as well throughout the summer, but he has stayed there at Leicester, had a very good World Cup for England, as we know. Wes Morgan, who we know is a Premier League winner, you know, what you think of him or not, he's won the Premier League. He's another big, broad centre-half. Obviously, in goal, before we skip onto the midfield, Kasper Schmeichel, who has been solid for Leicester over the last few years. Again, another Premier League winner. Going into midfield, I've got the likes of James Maddison, who Everton know quite well. We were rumoured to be after him. Marco Silva was asked about him in his press conference today, and he basically played down the idea that we were in for him. He said that he wasn't really aware of that, but he is a quality player. For me, I think we probably were in for him. I don't think we were in as serious as what was probably reported, because I think otherwise we'd have signed him, but we probably were in for him, and he is a good player, and he is very young and he's talented, and we know he can offer Leicester something that can hurt us, and it can. And then obviously you've got like Jamie Vardy up front, who again, another player that Everton have been monitoring over the last couple of seasons, a player that I mentioned Everton should go for in my January transfer window video about who I think we should go for and the types of players we should look to buy in January. Again, Jamie Vardy can exploit any team in the Premier League, and it's vitally important that we keep a strong back line, and that Zouma and Keane really keep it tight tomorrow. And you know, the likes of Dean, I'm always going to pronounce that name wrong, I do apologise, but the likes of Dean and Kenny can make sure that although they can burst forward and help provide for the wingers, they can also keep that strong back line with Keane and Zouma to make sure that Jamie Vardy can't get through. Because in the same way that I'm explaining that Richarlison could break their defence in half and sort of split their defence and get in behind, Jamie Vardy can quite easily do it to us, and he's done it in recent seasons. And for me, I think with the confidence level of our team at the minute, obviously it was improved after we beat Fulham in the league, but then the result on Tuesday night, the likes of Richarlison are going to be a little bit less confident because of his penalty miss. Theo Walcott, the other players that played, I think if we go a goal down, we really are in danger. And we've proved that this season. If we go a goal down, you know, we don't often look like getting back into a game. And again, against Southampton, the first half, we had a really good first half. First 30 minutes, we looked like scoring, we looked like threatening. We conceded, and then from that point on, we didn't even look like we were interested. So yeah, for me, just to round up, I think that this is a must-win for Marco Silva. I don't necessarily think it's a must-win because we'd be in danger, and he'd be in danger of losing his job if he lost it and all that. Like I say, that is well premature to start, you know, talking about sacking him and bringing someone else in. But I just think he has added a lot of pressure to himself that was unneeded by not going for the game on Tuesday night, by playing a weakened team, and by basically saying it's normal to make that many changes, and by not taking a competition like that seriously when we really are not in a position to not take it seriously. I think he's added heaps loads of pressure on himself, and if we don't get a victory tomorrow against Leicester, I think fans are going to be asking more questions as to, well, if we're not capable of going out with our full strength team and getting a victory away from home against a team like Leicester, who, let's be honest, are good, but they're not fantastic fantastic, then why weren't we just putting a full 7 team out in the cup and going balls to the walls for that, because it'd be our best opportunity to get to Wembley and win silverware. So yeah, like I said, it's definitely a game we can win, definitely a game that we can exploit them and score goals. Probably a little bit more pressure on Marco Silva now, in my opinion, but like I said, if we take a draw there, I think, you know, you're looking at it now and you're thinking, okay, a draw away from home against a team like Leicester could be a good result. If we get beat, I think it's, you know, it's dangerous really, isn't it? Because, you know, if we were to get beaten with a steamed Southampton, you could say, okay, it's poor that we've got beaten, that needs to change, but, you know, we've gone for the cup game and, you know, we're doing well in that competition and we're looking like we're going to sort of go ahead in the coming rounds. But like I said, for me, in terms of if we're going to look to finish 7th and in a European place this season, we really do need to be winning games like this, and we'll just have to see what happens. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. What do you think of my predicted starting 11 if you managed to catch up with Marco Silva's press conference? What do you think about the comments he made towards the game on Tuesday, towards obviously the situation with Bernard, towards the situations with Andre Gomez, Yerry Mina, etc. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed this video, please do drop it a like. I will be uploading obviously the review to this game on Monday. I do just want to say before I go, I understand that there's been, you know, quite an influx of previews and reviews. Obviously we had the Fulham game, and then straight after that we had Southampton game, and then straight after that we've had this game against Leicester. I do just want to say there is going to be more content obviously coming to the channel, videos like the January transfer one, like the one about Bernard, like the one about Marco Silva's striker, you know, situation. It's not just going to be previews and reviews, it's just that we have had that many games in a short period of time that obviously I've had to cover them all, and I have got a new series in mind which will hopefully work in the next sort of coming days and weeks. So thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, do leave a like, subscribe if you are new to the channel and you enjoy this content, and let's hope that we can go out and get the 3 points against Leicester tomorrow, and yeah, hopefully we can get that, you know, Carabao Cup loss on Tuesday out of our minds and focus on the Premier League from now on, because that looks like what Marco Silva wants to do. So let's hope we can do that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.